we shall continue with the same lesson, that is chapter 12, insulation. And the topic for today is your factors affecting weather and climate, or factors influencing weather and climate. Okay. So as you know that the distribution of temperature on the surface of the earth is not uniform. The temperature of the atmosphere of a place, okay, it depends on several factors. So here we have 6 important factors: latitude, altitude, distance from the sea, influence of ocean current, wind and slope of land. Okay. So first let's see latitude. So the temperature of the place, it depends on latitude also. So latitude, as you know, that it's the angular distance of a place measured in degree north or south of the equator. So now let's see the first point. Okay. The temperature decreases with the increase of latitude. That means as we move away from the equator towards the pole, what will happen to the heat? It decreases. The temperature decreases. And this is because of 2 reasons. Okay, number 1 is due to the spherical shape of the earth, and second one because of the revolution of the earth around the sun. So that's the first point. Then second point is the sun rays, okay, it strike the surface of the earth at varying angle of incidence due to the spherical shape of the earth along with the inclined axis. Okay, so because of these 2 factors, okay, the temperature becomes colder as we move away from the equator. That means higher the latitude, the colder the place. Okay, so now let's talk about the heat zones. So you know the earth, okay, the earth is divided into 3 heat zones: torrid, temperate and the frigid. Okay, so torrid zone is the hottest zone, whereas your frigid zone is the coldest zone. So why torrid is hottest and frigid is torrid is hottest and your frigid is the coldest means because torrid region, it receives the vertical rays of the sun, and your frigid zone, it receives the most slanting rays of the sun. So here you have a diagram. Okay, see here the vertical rays, okay, it will travel for a shorter distance. The distance covered by the vertical rays is short. That means when it passes through the atmosphere, the distance covered by it is very less, short, and moreover it heats a smaller area. So therefore the intensity of heat is more in case of your vertical rays. In case of your slanting rays, okay, the slanting rays not only they travel not only for a longer distance, but they cover a larger area. So you can see here, isn't it? They cover a larger area. Therefore, the intensity of heat is less in case of your slanting rays. Okay, so that's why torrid is the hottest zone. That is a reason near to the equator, means in between the 2 tropics, is the hottest zone, and away from the equator, that is towards the pole, your frigid zone, it's a coldest zone because they receive the most slanting rays of the sun. Okay, so that is about your latitude. Now second one is altitude, elevation. That means it's a height of the place above mean sea level. And you know, high the altitude, lower the temperature, isn't it? The temperature decreases at a rate of 1 degree Celsius for every 165 meters of height, which we call it as a normal lapse rate of temperature. So why the temperature decreases with the increase of height? Point number 1. Okay, so you can follow your textbook also. It's on page number 88. Okay, so first one is the atmosphere. Okay, is mostly heated from below. You all know that, isn't it? By the terrestrial radiation. And moreover, the lower layer of the atmosphere, okay, it denser. It consists of water vapor, dust and other particles that absorb heat. Whereas in case at a high altitude, the air is less dense, the air is rare, and moreover there is the absence of water vapor, okay, dust and other particles to absorb the heat. So therefore it is cooler where at a higher altitude. So higher the altitude, lower the temperature. Example, why Shimla remain cooler, okay, in the summer season as compared to Delhi? because Shimla is at a higher altitude as compared to Delhi. Okay, so that's the second one, altitude. Now let's see third point, distance from the sea. So as you know that the sun's rays, okay, it pass through water to a greater depth. Okay, so and the heated and moreover water is mobile. So the warm water can easily go and mix with cold water. So for this reason, the water is neither heated nor cooled quickly. Whereas on the other hand, as you know, land is opaque, it's immobile. So therefore, the heat obtained by a piece of land will be confined to that particular area. So therefore, the land gets heated quickly and cools down quickly. Okay. So therefore, during the daytime, okay, the land is hotter than the sea. So the air over the land gets warmed up, they become lighter and therefore they rise, creating a region of low pressure over the land. And at this time over the water body, okay, it is relatively cooler. So therefore the cold wind, it blows from sea towards land, that is from high pressure region to low pressure over the land. So this cold wind, okay, blowing from sea to land will lower the temperature over the coastal area. So this wind that blows from the from the sea to the land during the daytime is known as a sea breeze. And at night it's just the reverse, okay. So at night the sea remains relatively warmer than the land, okay. So the wind blows from land to sea during the night time, known as a land breeze. So this interchange of breeze will maintain the heat balance. Okay. So you know that the regions located or the places located near to the sea, they experience maritime, oceanic or the moderate climate. That's neither very hot nor very cold. Take example of Mumbai, because Mumbai is a coastal city. Whereas the places which are located away from the sea, okay, they experience continental type of climate. That's very hot in summer, very cool in winter. Delhi. So Delhi lies in the interior, whereas Mumbai is a coastal city. Okay. So next one, number 4, is the influence of ocean current. So the warm current, that means like the onshore wind, okay, when the onshore wind blows over the warm current, okay, they pick up some moisture, they are able to carry some moisture and therefore they give rainfall. Whereas the cold wind that's blowing over the cold current, okay, they cannot or they do not pick up moisture and therefore they give very less or no rainfall at all. And moreover, the warm current, okay, so we know there are two types of current based on temperature, warm and cold current. So the warm current, they tend to raise the temperature of the place wherever they flow, isn't it? Whereas the cold current, they tend to lower the temperature of a place. So take the example of Norway, the port of Norway, okay, it remains ice free during winter season. So why it remains ice free during winter season? Because it's due to the influence of the warm current. Now let's see point number 5, wind. So wind modify the temperature of the place along which they or over which they blow. So take the example of the cold wind, okay, the wind that's blowing from the interior of the landmass during the winter season. So they tend to or they lower the temperature of the place along their path. On the other hand, okay, the warm wind, okay, they raise the temperature of the place along their path. So warm wind, they raise the temperature, and cold wind, they lower the temperature of the place. Similarly, warm air, okay, that is especially the onshore wind, wind blowing from sea towards the land, they are capable of producing rain because they carry some moisture. Whereas on the other hand, the cold wind, okay, that's the offshore wind, they are incapable of producing rainfall. So let's take the example of the local wind Loo in India. It's a hot, dry, dusty wind, isn't it? It blows in northwestern part of India during the daytime in the summer season. So this hot wind, it raises the temperature of the place, causing heat stroke. On the other hand, the example is your cold wind mistral. So this wind will lower the temperature of a place along the Mediterranean region. Okay, so warm wind will raise the temperature and cold wind will lower the temperature. Then the last one is your slope of the land. So the effect of the slope of the land, okay, it's especially striking in the mid latitude or in the temperate region. So in the temperate region, okay, the south facing slope, they are warmer, okay, or they receive more heat than the north facing slope. So therefore the south facing slopes are warmer than the north facing slope. And moreover, okay, the north south facing slope, okay, they are more vegetation. So in that region we find more vegetation, more settlement than the north facing slope. So this aspect, okay, I mean this effect of slope is known as a aspect effect.